This part.
You have to share. You share screen? Yeah, then we're fine. Yeah.
Okay. Eliminate this.
But it's in your screen, no?
No.
And then why we see that? Because I'm sharing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put you.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't understand. Okay. So I think this is the best we can get. View. View immersive. No. No, I have to see. I'm gonna see the full screen if I can. Do you see the option? Speaker, gallery, multi-speaker. I think this is the best I can give. Yeah.
That would be nice. Before we didn't have those.
Yeah, but maybe you can tell me what to do. This or this. These are all the options. Here.
No,
No, this is not my
no.
button. But this no. No.
You could make the sidebar smaller.
This. Yeah, this is the best. I can share the presentation.
Directly on computer. Just share the PPT file.
Yeah, you share the thing. Yeah, that's fine. Share this. No, that's exactly what you should not do.
Yeah, it's better that first you stop the screen and then you, and
Share. But can you put it in presentation mode, or this is the presentation?
This is the presentation.
Okay, so well, this is the best we have.
Well,
And then you turn your eyes.
Full screen, maybe?
I don't know this software, so it probably has full screen on it.
Full screen of the.
what?
In view, there's a full screen of
Full screen of some of the bottom.
from your computer.
Here,
On top there is.
From the other.
on my computer. In view, immersive.
The bottom, full screen.
The bottom.
Which one is full screen?
Dale otra vez.
View?
Okay. This is the best we can do. Just the same.
Make the sign on the one.
And in view, you don't have full screen in this?
Total pantalla.
I don't know. They don't know this software. Anyways. Okay. So with you,
Size.
Bigger sidebar and a smaller click and.
What is the computer?
I can't do it any smaller. This is the minimum. So, yeah, okay.
I think with this size.
Yeah,
Possible to see the presentation. Well, hi everyone, my name is Fabricio Moreno, and it's my pleasure to be here with you to present this resilience supply chain. It's one of the topics that I love it, and this topic is predominantly in the logistic field. So I decided to put a more logistic environment with this presentation. And then we can explore this them with this little warehouse. I call it the CLEA warehouse. Well, the principal point of the resilience, is I think this acronym of pixels and is saying of the either the resilience is a phenomenon when there's the supply chains take and withstand from disruptions, taking advantage of this and make recoveries and adaptation to these kind of issues. It's important and this is relevant for many enterprises because the resilience has many phenomena in complex way. There is such great impact in many companies that put a lot of effort to enhance efforts to maximize inputs, minimizing costs, and with all these endeavors, this is the critical point for today, the resilience of supply chain. Now we can see in this in this graphic. The behavior of the resilience. This phenomenon has 5 stages of the resilience. When this phenomenon, when takes existence during the efficiency of productions or whatever company, put it down in all the efficiency in this long resistance. Then when the times goes by, it puts a recovery stage and then recovers the initial stage in order to be placed an adaptation from the original point of normal production. And the interesting point of resilience is that embrace many complex ideas. This is not a unique or a univariate scope. That's the reason that this term fall in interdisciplinary fields, because when a disruption takes place in any company, when any supply chains occurs, ripple effects, synchronization effects, bullwhip effects, and of course, impacts in a negative form in economic way. That's the reason that many companies, even governments, put a lot of effort and spend more invest in this phenomenon in order to take advantage of these complex phenomena. Yeah, well, one of these phenomenon is so obviously the part of economic one. When the disruption takes place in whatever part of the time, the first economic phenomenon is the inflation. Yeah, as you know that inflation is when the price soar in a high level, and therefore the consumer has a negative impact in his spending. On the contrary, when the inflation got in a lower point, is a bad point in order for the producers, for the suppliers. We can see the first phenomenon that I'm going to explain is the synchronization. This phenomenon occurs obviously when take place the disruption. The synchronization refers that well-coordinated actions between the different echelons of the supply chains. When supply chain has this type of synchronization, a well type of synchronization, reduce his waste, optimize its inventories, and obviously the cost is minimizing at a certain point of returns. And this phenomenon is taking place in many parts of the echelons that compose the supply chain. There are many models that depict with a differential equation in order to obtain what is the best variables that one company controls in order to take place this the advantage of this phenomenon of synchronization. Well, the next, as you can see this in this example, one of these examples that we are seeing as an advantage for companies is the GIT, I mean, the just-in-time perspective in order to take control of the inventories. The advantage, of course, of these perspectives, like Toyota apport to this technique, is that, of course, we minimize all the costs that come from some of the inventory. But the point is that when that disruption takes place, there is no buffering of inventories, and therefore the consumers and demand is higher than the offer. And this is the starting point of the high cost for the company. The other, we can see that then in Zara company, like the industry of clothes, like Zara, send the ideas and the signals of the demand of the customers in order to produce the quality of clothes. And if this is wrong, and this is deformed by the bullwhip effect, the company grows and up its cost, and obviously it's starting to building up its inventories. And that's the reason that the synchronization must be an interesting and crucial part of the study of resilience. And the next one, we're going to explain about how the economic phenomenon impact of this phenomenon of resilience. As we can see in this graphic, in this figure, is proven that the inflation was of the first phenomenon that comes from of a disruption. The cost push shocks emerge of these kind of shocks, financial shocks, and obviously it impacts the inflation in store prices. We see this phenomenon when occurred the Russian-Ukrainian war. As you know, the Ukrainian country is one of the first exporters in grains, and then the war blocked the production of it, and then the price of the wheat soared worldwide. And that's one of the reasons that phenomenon like inflation or trade balance or export and imports must be treated in this type of phenomenon like economic one. The next one is the phenomenon of spillover effect. When a disruption takes place, there are many consequences that widespread over the echelons of over the different echelons of the supply chain in a negative or positive way, of course. Obviously, when a company like Apple brings an advantage from AI, the first externalities or positive externalities that take place on his suppliers were being received from his lines of productions. This is a type of positive spillover. And this phenomenon must be treated when a disruption takes place and take advantage of it. And then the other phenomenon that occurred in a constant way when a disruption takes place. The phenomenon called the bullwhip effect. Bullwhip effect is the distortion of the demand from the customer to the producers. We see such a little example from during the COVID-19 pandemic, when many consumers sent the signal of many tons of quantity of masks or ventilators. Then they send in a high level quantities to the producers, and then the producers starting to building up high inventories, and then the high costs start in a high cost of this phenomenon. The other phenomenon that occurs in a disruption is the ripple effect. The ripple effect is the velocity that a disruption takes place between many supply chains in a network. Obviously, when it's like a spillover effect, but surrounded in a many supply chains in an interconnected way. The first step in order to put control in this type of phenomena is obviously attack the visibility and the traceability of logistics using the technology or AI to probe and search bottlenecks during all echelons in the supply chains. And there are many investigators and researchers that say that when one is studying the bullwhip effect, must be take place in the research, the bullwhip effect. And the next one. Well, as a conclusion, I think the interconnected way that has many supply chains is the principal advantage that interdisciplinary science must be taken in order to research, because this is the principal feature of every network, of every supply chains. And then the resilience is the result of this mixing up. And this is the new advantage that the interdisciplinary science must be take place and take advantage of it as a solution or as a tool in order to obtain more resilience chains. This is the principal idea of my research, and because every aspect that the disruption take place brings every echelons in synchronization effect, bullwhip, triple, and economic effects. And if you see as a retrospective in the literature about the logistic and resilience, you could encounter that there are many research that are studying this part of logistic as a component of ice in an isolated environment. And they are studying as a one scope and I think this is a good opportunity in order to take advantage of this interdisciplinary scope. Nowadays, there are many researchers, such as Ivanov, that think about the resilience must be analyzed as a part of bullwhip and ripple effect, taking into account some variables in an economic perspective. But the point is that the opportunity that we see in this field, in this topic, is that there are many complexities behind this phenomenon, such as cultural and political perspective from the supply chains, the idiosyncrasies that come from the consumers, from the suppliers in the upstream levels. I mean the upstream levels about the producers and suppliers. And that will be an opportunity that we take part of. Well, as a conclusion, we can say that every disruption comes from every effect that we have taken this session. But the point is, will we take advantage of this effect in order to get a good exchange from our suppliers, from our networks, or we will let them to make a wave of economic crisis? This is the question that I left you in this session. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Fabricio, for illuminating on the supply chain complex effects and their interrelations. So we are waiting for questions. Okay. You? Yeah.
No, COVID. Example, conclusions from the experience COVID and breaking chain supplies, how to answer in that light, how to answer that last question.
Yeah, the COVID-19 was one of the last great crisis that the humankind has seen, a part of the financial crisis of the 2008. This crisis, the COVID-19, the first experience that supply chains has got is that the filling up inventories must be taken care with a lot of efforts, because as I said, if you use the just-in-time technique, you know, when the Japanese only produce the orders that come from the demand consumers and nothing else, well, you are minimizing the cost. And when the COVID-19, of course, and take place in this moment with the enterprise that has this technique of GAT, I mean, just in time, they grow in a maximum level its costs of inventory, because they haven't filling and buffering inventory in order to attack the new demand from customers. That's the reason that I think that is the principal lesson that the supply chain of worldwide learn from the GAT, and obviously with a high cost.
Yeah, I can contribute to the answer a little bit, because we have been doing this research together. there is something very interesting that happened at COVID, and it's actually in the articles we are about to publish, hopefully, I mean, submit at least. But in 2019 to 2021, like many of the research fields that he presented today, these effects of synchronization, spillover, etc., showed a marked statistical change in the way the publications on supply chain resilience have been, published regularly. There is a statistical mark change, and that change is described or can be understood because many other fields of research started doing research on that. So basically what we have, I think one of the central or one significant result of the thesis is that the COVID crisis marked a before and after in the multidisciplinarity of the supply chain resilience as a research field. Because in all the effects that you have to you can analyze, you see the same trend. That's one of the things. And the second thing is that there has been a more and more clear need to integrate this in a complex systems model and not in a cause effect like linear model that as it has been before. So yeah, basically this is what I can say that at the academic level, that was the view. So now the practicalities, I don't know. He said something more clear about that. Yeah. Any other question? More questions? Yeah.
The way I see the logistics problem, it's a question of, on the one hand, buffering, getting enough reserves in between. On the other hand, diversity of different supply chains. So if one is interrupted, you can switch to another one. One thing that I don't yet see, which is different from the COD model, it's not really circular in the sense that the supply chain goes from a source to a person who needs it, from the supplier to the customer. So there does not seem to be really much of a feedback in the whole system. I don't know, maybe that's not necessary in this case, but I don't know whether there could be. Well, maybe one feedback could be that some goods are sent back because people don't like them, and then you need to get them to different customers. But otherwise, it seems to be pretty linear, go from the source to the place where it's bought.
Yeah, but I think that this is because the supply chain maybe is not incorporating the fact that products are created in different places. So this is just about how things once made go to the actual user. But if you're gonna buy, I don't know, like springs, these springs are produced in the mining from the metal. You make the spring then gets to the house, and then the house goes to work in it's the CEO of the mine in company. The elevator of the headquarters of the mining company are made of springs from the mine that they operate, and they eat the food from the plate that they are also supplying, I don't know, whatever balances and stuff. So it's because it's not integrated in the productive system.
Larger scale system, there needs to be things going back from the client to the producer. But I was thinking about maybe a more down-to-earth problem. If you have shipping, let's say you have a ship that takes ore from Mexico and brings it to Europe or to China, those ships have to go back.
Yeah.
It would be logical that while going back, they're not empty, but they're bringing something else.
Yeah. But in many cases, they come back
empty. But in principle, it's the same chain. It's the same shipping route that needs to be moving in both directions as efficiently as possible, which means that whatever goes from A to B, something equivalent should go from B to A.
Yeah,
I don't know what
complementary at least. Yeah. But this is it's very weird because the markets are different than the requirements. So, for example, I don't know, Mexico will send a lot of coffee, for just to say, but then it gets back all sorts of products of much higher complexity. So that's how you see like the economic complexity is very different, the profiles. And that's what develops countries actually.
Yeah.
Because what is exporting, I don't know, Africa countries are exporting, I don't know, banana, skin, whatever, like, you know, wool, something like that. But they have to get computers, laptops, you know, all that. So yeah, that is a very remarkable way to look at the asymmetry in the world. But yeah,
Well,
that
it's asymmetry in the quality of the good, but it's not necessarily a asymmetry in the bulk of the goods. You would expect that in terms of bulk, maybe as much goes back in the one direction as comes in the other direction.
bulk in what?
In the sort of,
Kilograms or?
yeah, I mean, if you fill a ship with containers,
Yeah,
it goes from A to B, but then when the ship comes back from B to A, it's not empty.
no,
It will be something else.
yeah, no. What it, the asymmetry is at the level of processing of the material,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
right?
But that's
But not at the level of
asymmetry.
mass. Yeah. But maybe there is an asymmetry level of mass as well.
Yeah, there may be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah. And yeah, it's interesting because there's less population generally.
But thinking in terms of sustainability, you would want, let's say, these ships or these planes or these airways to carry as much in both directions, because
Mm.
sending a ship over the ocean that is half as loaded as when it went, it's kind of wasting time.
Mhm. But that's fine, as I know it happened. Well, but anyways, again, some discussion. So we thank again, Fabricio. Before we move on, I want to ask to everyone, because I imagine that it might be the case that people might start leaving at some point. So I want to propose that we take a picture. Is it?
Yeah, but only once.
Okay, great. So I want to take a picture now for the event, because if you start like, oh, it's too late, I have to go, like it's gonna happen for sure. So so we can keep all the possible faces now here. I guess this is a good place, so we can also have Dirk, who is attending online, and I hope we don't have all the other visitors.
Almost life size.
Yeah, it's gonna look like.
The name of the symposium, maybe.
For 30. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's a picture. Yes. Yeah, so the workshop, where is that? Ah, the CLEA house. Dirk, you can show your face for the picture. Yes. And, please, show. Yeah, maybe, yeah, show some love. Because you have this like photo camera thing.
Yeah,
And what? You have this like photo, like your hand. You still have to go closer with each other. So.
If you want, I have
I will be there too. I just, I will take pictures. Like, wait a second. But I told you.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Well, but not a. Okay. Thank you.
Big camera,
Yeah, big one, big.
when you want.
To Instagram. To the book.
What we next up?
Yeah. I now someone else is gonna come with a
Guys, please tell me when you're done because then I stop smiling.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
But yes, okay, are you ready? Oh, wait, we need back. Okay, yeah, we got. Yeah, CLEA. What do you say? Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. Oh, oh, perfect. So, yeah. Yeah. So this will be the objects. After this very short interlude, we go to receive our dear thing. We receive our dear guest of today. The House of Sustainable Transitions, that I will leave you in suspense because they will explain what is it about. But certainly they reflect what we want to talk today. So I will stop the recording.
Put everything together.